What's going on, people? Good morning. Welcome to your transfer view and welcome to United View. Busy day yesterday. I want to start, everyone. Thank you to everyone for your positive comments, man. I was in the Sky Studios yesterday. We broke a lot of news: the Philip Coutinho story, the Kieran Tripp story, a lot of other stuff. But just in general, just the love. It's just nice. It's just nice. You know when, like, I don't know, you kind of deep something, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's so good to see you come from this point to this point. It's so good to see," and just in some of the comments and stuff like that, stuff on social media, people sending me, people who have WhatsApp me. Not that you guys all have my number, but I big you lot up, man. Thank you. Really, it does mean a lot, and it really does go far. It really does go far. Enough of the sentimental stuff, but big up to you lot. Paul Pogba. All right. Now the news is no new deal. Yeah, there was reports of like a massive offer, an extra offer to make him the highest paid player in the Premier League. There's a piece in the Daily Mail that is claiming that this was happening. 500k a week, another new deal. Yeah, so this is our understanding of the Paul Pogba situation, because he hasn't even been front and center for a while. So I was quite surprised to see this and to see a spokesman come out and actually address it, because the latest we had from Paul Pogba, take away the injury and where he's at, the latest we had from Paul Pogba was that he'd have the same offer on the table from last summer, as in not the summer just gone, the one before that, or halfway through the season, and he hadn't signed it yet. It's almost like, here's the contract, it's still on the table. They ain't picked up the pen and actually signed it yet. And you're looking at it saying, okay, so why hasn't he signed it? Keeping his options open. It's now been obviously left until it's got to the January transfer window, which is now, and he can speak to teams abroad as of now. He's injured right now, so that's definitely why he's not going to leave in this window. Can't even play, which probably saved us a little bit, because if we can get him fit for the running or from February onwards, then, you know, we got a chance at going for something before it all collapses again, in my opinion. But he's going to go in the summer. I've always thought he would do. And that was the latest. And then we got yesterday a spokesman coming out, And it's weird because it weren't Riola. Usually this would be a Riola situation where Riola would come, talk some more shit, pour some more fuel over the fire, ignite it some more, then turn it into smoke, then let it simmer down, then come and say something else. But it just says a spokesman. It just says a spokesman. So I'm pretty sure if that was Riola, we would know about it by now. We would have heard about it. We would have had various outlets saying Raiola says X, Y, Z, because everything he says gets quoted. He's Mino Raiola. That's what happens. Just to fill you in, if you don't know what the spokesman said, this is what the spokesman had to say. To clarify media reports, Paul has not been offered a new contract in recent months. Okay, so there's no kind of funny, get your story right. There's no clickbait. There's no nothing. He hasn't been offered a new contract in recent months. So that means on top of the one that he got given that we all knew about, common knowledge, Ollie kind of spoke about wanting him to stay and all this, that, and the other. We know the club gave him a contract. All the big journalists have reported that. All the domestic journalists have reported that. That's not news. That's why Paul Pogba hasn't been front and centre for a while. We haven't even spoke about him. Yes, because he's been injured, but two, we know his contract situation. We know what's on the table. So he hasn't received a new contract offer in recent months. They go on to say Paul is fully focused on his recovery from injury with the aim of helping the team as soon as possible. I tell you what, that type of comment, that type of brief is it's very short, it's very simple, it's very concise, which actually isn't what we usually get from the Pogba camp. Again, I'm surprised it's another spokesperson, because, like I said, this would normally have been handled by Mino Raiola. And God knows if he would have been answering this question or answering these rumours that Paul Pogba's allegedly been offered another deal at 500k a week to stay at the club, he would have been flirting with all sorts if this was him. And if this was him, I'd have to stand corrected and hold my hands up and say maybe Raiola's 2022 New Year's resolution was to not be a idiot. Maybe his 22 resolution was to kind of come on a respectful tip and just deal with things and nip them in the bud quick, because this doesn't seem like a Mino Raiola handling of the situation. Because if it was him, he'd be saying 500 grand a week. Well, Paul is a fantastic player. You know, he's capable of doing things that nobody's capable of. You know, there's many people who could pay him this, and it would just be a mess. But whoever this person is in the camp, if it isn't Raiola, which I don't think it is, whoever this is in the camp has come straight out, front center, said, no, that's bullshit. He's fixed on getting fit and getting back in the side to help the team. That's it. That's it. And you don't need to say much more than that because we know where we're at. So I was really surprised to see that be a thing. Do you know what I mean? So that's the news. No new deal. There isn't an extended offer for Paul Pogba. But also it doesn't show that Man United, from a club point of view, if you want to flip it on us and take it away from the Pogba camp, at the moment it shows that Man United are just letting this rumble on. You know, they've let it get to January where he can agree to leave with another club abroad, whether that be Juventus, whether that be PSG, whether that be Real Madrid, whether it be Barcelona. Not that I think they could afford him. So there's that side of it. But Man United are not going. It doesn't seem like Man United are pandering, saying, "Flipping it, Paul, you haven't signed this one since we last spoke, and that's been on the table for a while. Do you want an improved terms? Is it that? Do you want something else?" Because that's basically what the rumour's saying. The rumour's saying that we've then offered him 500k a week as opposed to whatever we offered him in the first offer. And even the Pogba camp, obviously the club's never going to come out and confirm or deny. They're not going to speak on stuff like that. But a Pogba spokesman is saying that that's just not true. That's just not true. So what we're seeing is the club are not really being forthcoming in trying to, you know, get him and being held to ransom, which actually I do agree with. If they put something down on the table, they're not going to put it down with the same money and exactly the same terms. They're obviously going to bump up his money and giving him an improved contract. That's the whole point of re-signing a player. Whether or not Pogba thinks that's sufficient or not is up to him. But if the club have laid down that they want to keep him and he ain't signed it yet, I would probably side with the club with this one and say, well, this is the offer. It's improved on last time. This is what we think you're worth based on what you've given us over the last 5 years, whatever it is. And if you don't sign it, then you're going to have to go for free. Where I don't agree with what the club was doing, which I said last summer, which I was saying, please don't let him go into his last year. Don't let him go into his last year because this is going to rumble on and he's going to get more powerful in the situation. And that's what's happened. And I said by Christmas, whether we're doing good or we're doing bad, especially if we're doing bad, it will all be about him. The only reason it's not all about him right now, I think, is because he's injured, which, you know, I want him fit as soon as possible. But actually, him being out of the fray when the shit's hit the fan has made it not be the Paul Pogba show. Paul Pogba gets blamed for everything. He gets rightly blamed for some stuff and wrongly blamed for a hell of a lot more. And if he would have been playing in this mess what we're seeing now, where the players ain't running hard enough, where the application's not there, he would have been at the top of the list of, and he's another one, he can go strutting around the pitch, not trying, losing the ball, this, that, and the other, because they all deserve criticism, but he would have been in that pool. So kind of, I'm almost happy that he's not in it, because it gives it, not that it gives someone else the blame, but it makes it not just all about the Paul Pogba show, but actually, because he's not been in it, that's why that's taken the limelight off him. And also, I think maybe one of the reasons why Man United haven't been forthcoming in trying to sort this out as well is because of the mess that they're in. Ole had to get sacked. You had to find Ralph Rangnick. You don't know how long he's going to be here for. They're probably trying to negotiate with the new manager now. A proper mess. It's what you call a proper mess. So I just thought if we sorted out the Pogba thing in the summer, what we could have done is got money for him, because now we can't get shit for him. He ain't going to go in January. If he was going to go in January, we would have known about that already. And he can't even kick a ball for another 4 to 5 weeks. Which is what Ralph Rangnick said yesterday. So another month minimum. So he can't play through all of January as a minimum. Then probably the first week of Feb. Then he's got to get back training and then get fit. Maybe add another week or two on top of that. So you're talking about potentially, until you get a fit, match-ready Paul Pogba, you're talking about 6 to 8 weeks. Do you know what I mean? Which is the best part of 2 months. So I don't know, man. It was a shame we didn't get sorted in the summer to get some form of transfer fees. The same with Jesse Lingard. We could have got 20 to 25 for him. I know Aston Villa didn't want to pay that, but you thrash out a deal, maybe get 18 then, get 19, get something. Now, and then again, we're not going to sell him in January when we could get probably what? Jesse was going to go now, maybe 10, 12 million, because he's in the last 6 months. Doesn't look like he's going to do that, but even though we're not sure. If we let him, he's another one we're going to let go for free. So it's just it's a mess. It's a mess. We know this. We know this already. So, Paul Pogba situation. Watch this space. The news is there is no news. The news is there is no new deal. Do you know what I mean? There's no big offer. There's no massive offer out the ballpark making him the highest paid player in the league. Which, to be fair, if we were going to do that, is Pogba worth making him the highest paid player in the league? I mean, I think if we did that, me personally, with how he's performed, and I know a lot of people love Paul Pogba, and I'm one of them, but I'm not afraid to really judge how he's performed and get into it. Yeah, he don't deserve to be the highest paid player in the league, not at all. Man City got the most money in the league. Well, Newcastle got the most money in the league, but Man City arguably can afford to pay more in wages than we can just because they got so much money. They wouldn't make Paul Pogba that. Look at it. They've got humble guys like, not saying that Paul Pogba's not humble, but they've got guys like Bernardo Silva who wouldn't be on anywhere near 400, 500 grand a week because that's just not how it works. And he's performing week in, week out, top draw player. Do you know what I mean? So, no, I don't think Paul Pogba is worth 500 bags a week. No way. You could call me harsh, and some people are still in the mindset of flex, and I say that, they're saying they're talking to me, they're not, it's just their opinion. I think that Paul Pogba, Man United absolutely still need him. He's the best at this, he's the best at that, he's amazing, he's this and that. I just read in between the lines of what Pogba is and what Pogba isn't. If we can get him fit in the right system, I want to see it. He's a fantastic player. But if you're asking me how he's done, yes, in chaos, yes, when everything hasn't been good, yes, when, Man United's been in turmoil since he's come in, but just his own performances, he gives the ball away loads in midfield. There's no urgency. Defensively, his midfield game is poor. We almost need to release Paul Pogba like we do Bruno and say, keep away from the defensive side of things. You stay at the top end of the pitch and try and operate in there. He's dog in the centre of midfield. I don't care. That's my opinion. Don't get me wrong. There are some games where he's going to stand out. We might play against a crap Burnley or a Fulham side last season, or, you might get a routine win at home to Palace or something and Pogba sprayed some balls. And, like beginning of the season, Leeds playing wide open, Pogba having a field day, he's getting time, space, playing amazing passes. Of course he's capable of that. He's Paul Pogba. He's world class on his day. But if you're asking me on a consistent level of the level that we need in midfield to keep, I wouldn't base it off Paul Pogba in a pivot. He's not reliable enough. It's just a fact. And look, what we're going to do, go and buy Kante and stick him next to him. Unless we build something that Man United isn't right now. Right now, in this Man United team, I don't think Paul Pogba is reliable enough to play alongside someone like Fred or McTominay, which is why we haven't seen it that much. Do you know what I mean? Unless we get some serious investment in there, which we never seem to do. So don't get me wrong. I wouldn't mind Pogba staying at all. I'm not one of these that make sure we sell him. He's crap. I'm definitely not in that camp. I'm in the camp of, if we keep him, please, my God, have a plan to build a proper midfield and change it, because it doesn't work with McTominay. It doesn't work with Fred. And unless you're going to say Fred and one other good defensive midfielder who comes in, or I don't know, a Declan Rice and someone else, and then put Pogba just ahead of that, or play a midfield free, then I can't see it working. I can't. The balance is all off when Pogba's in there, because we've got two other not so good midfielders as well. So let's see. We'll see. Also, Fred hits back. And I wanted to just touch on this. I know it was kind of mid yesterday, and I wanted to see what kind of happened with it. And I just found it odd. And here's what Fred came out and said. And this is, again, something that we never see. This is what Fred had to say. Over the past few days, I've read several fake news involving my name and other Man United athletes. Weird. I'm not in the habit of answering controversial stuff publicly, but this time I will have to. I just want to say that I am very happy here, and I have never expressed any dissatisfaction and the possibility of leaving the club. Don't get misled by fake news. We will continue to work with the great dedication to pursue our goals. Now, first of all, Fred, I don't know what you guys think. When you're talking about the 17 players that are unhappy, I'm not even really talking about Fred. Fred's not even supposed to be one of the ones who are unhappy. Me personally, I mean, I get it. The last 2 games he hasn't been playing, to be fair to him. But one, I haven't even seen his name plastered about all over the place as one of the main ones. So it's news to me, unless I'm missing something, unless you guys have. 2, Fred is one of the ones that, yes, we've not been good enough as a team, but if you was going to accuse anybody of not trying hard or not putting it in, it wouldn't be Fred. Fred is all about the pitch. So that's a weird one. And 3, for Fred to come out, and talk about that, for Fred to come out and clarify that, that's something we never see. I mean, Paul Pogba did it when Ollie, during Ollie's near the end, he was still injured. But again, he was like, he just did it on his Instagram. Fake news, you know, they want you to believe the lies and stuff like that. That was Paul Pogba doing it off his own back as well. And then the club jumped on that at the time and reposted it and put United with a fist pump to say, oh, fucking hell, I'll tell you what, that's a good bit of media spin there. That means we know we're at dire straits. We're trying to get through with Ollie, and it shows that we're United. But it was weird. It was weird. It was something that we don't normally see. And Fred is not a big talker. So for him to come out and say that, I'm thinking, have the club kind of asked him for a little bit of help to come out and speak, just to kind of throw some cold water over stuff, calm it down? I don't know. That would just be pure speculation, because like I said, it could be something he done off his own back, which they could use to their own advantage, or it could be something they asked him to do. One thing is, Fred don't speak like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, somebody's written that for him. I know Fred's English probably isn't that great as well, but it's written. It's PR written, isn't it? But Fred, look, I don't think a lot of people have a problem with Fred. I was reading some of the comments and people were saying, listen, your professionalism's top. We love you, Fred, and this, that, and the other. And I kind of echo that. We can talk about the deficiencies in Fred's game of why he might not be good enough in certain areas, but effort and desire and passion there is three top attributes. Getting about the pitch and getting in people's faces and dispossessing people. And that's one thing you wouldn't label it Fred, but it was just, it was just typical. I got back in from Sky. I wanted to check the news, see what's going on in the Man United world. Fred comes out and says this. And it just seems to be one thing after another, doesn't it? One thing after another. We just can't catch a break. We can't catch a break with all this shit going on right now. So, there you have it. There you have it. Anyway, guys, that's your latest transfer news. The news is that there is no news on Paul Pogba. No new deal. I'm sure if there is a new deal or a new development in it, we'll all know very, very soon. But I think that will just dwindle on and go to the end of the season, and he'll walk out on a free. I don't even think he'll sign. I know there's been some reports that he may come and sign at the end of the year, but I don't know. It would have to be. You never say never in football. It'd have to be a dramatic turnaround. It'd have to be Pochettino walking through this door with a full clear out, because that's what's going to have to happen in the summer, in my opinion. Or Ten Hag walking in with a full clear out, and they can somehow convince Paul Pogba to stay and sign a 2-3 year deal, his last big contract. I'm not so sure. And we touched on Fred as well, because he spoke up, which is very unlike Fred. Very unlike Fred. Smash a like on the video, subscribe if you are new. We've got the lead up to the Aston Villa game. We'll have some preview stuff coming as well. Full view coming tomorrow as well. Have all the lads there. Plenty to talk about there. Smash a like on the video, subscribe if you lot are new. I am out of here. Peace.